Had their second preseason game Sunday, taking on New Orleans, as Kellen Moore made his head coaching debut Sunday in the Saints' first preseason action. Now, the big question in New Orleans, fellas, is quarterback. So, Emery, where do you stand on Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler, and who stood out to you on Sunday?
Standing right in the middle, because nothing was solved today. Both guys had their moments, and both guys played very inconsistent. When you look at someone like Spencer Rattler, who got the start, he had the athleticism. He was able to pick up some yards with his legs. He moved the football rather well. But once again, the turnovers reared its ugly head for him. Fumbling the football, that's a lost possession. And he didn't lead any scoring drives. Just when you thought he was going to lead one, they couldn't get the fourth down conversion. They tried to run the football and got blown up in the backfield. But then Tyler Shough comes in and was taking sacks. He threw the pick six, but then he was able to rebound and had a deep touchdown on a double move to Mason Tipton, the second-year player out of Yale. So he played a little bit better because he has to score. But, man, both guys showed you that, hey, they practiced rather well, but it didn't really translate to the game, and that's what you want to see if you're head coach Kellen Moore.
To me, part of the issue, Emery, was the O-line protection. You talked about Tyler Shough taking some sacks. Well, Spencer Rattler took some too. When you look at the quarterbacks for the Saints, they got sacked 5 times. And I can't count how many times they were hurried or pressured. So, you know, that always speeds up your mechanics as well. I love what I saw from Spencer Rattler early. He was efficient with the ball. You talked about him using his mobility. I think Tyler Shough will learn in the NFL. Throws that you got away with at Louisville, you're not getting away with those in the NFL. You see it right here. You're late on an out route? Give me those. Pick six. Strike up the band. So you have to be cognizant of that in the NFL. When you're throwing from one hash outside the numbers, you have to be throwing in rhythm. If you throw late, things like that, what we just saw on the screen, happen. But I love what Kellen Moore did. The next drive, first play was a rollout pass, and then he hits him with a double move to get his confidence back in his young quarterback. So like Emery said, we saw good and bad from both. I would say I would give the slight edge to Spencer Rattler because you have to play a clean brand of football, and he didn't turn the ball over. Now, he did have that one fumble, but Tyler Shough and also Jake Haener also had interceptions in this game. So I would give the slight edge to Spencer Rattler, but to Emery's point, I don't think we've really solved who is going to be the starter for the Saints so far.
It's also got to be tough, too, considering the amount of injuries to the Saints wide receiver room, but both guys playing with the same weapons out there. On the other side, though, Trey Lance continues to be a preseason story. 3 teams in 5 years, but he looked sharp running the Chargers offense on Sunday. So what have you seen from him in LA?
Yeah, we saw him use more of his mobility today. I felt like in the first preseason game, in the Hall of Fame game, he was poised, right? He knew where to go with the football. He processed well. I feel like he was a little more timid today. He didn't let the ball go as much, but he did use his athletic ability to get out and get some crucial first downs. We talked about the Saints' offensive line struggle. The Chargers' offensive line struggled at times too, and he was under heavy duress. But I would say he played significantly better than Taylor Heinicke. Taylor Heinicke looked like he was a deer in the headlights the first couple drives he had. He constantly held the ball, got sacked, threw some errant passes as well. Now, again, that could be rust because he didn't play in the Hall of Fame game, and this was his first game this preseason. So we'll see what happens the next preseason game. But Trey Lance is going to make this backup job really interesting. Again, with Taylor Heinicke's experience, you know that Jim Harbaugh would maybe want to lean that way, but Trey Lance just continues to improve. And as a former top 3 pick, you're going to always get the nod in regards to people thinking that they could turn you around.
Trey Lance continues to improve as the Chargers improved to 2-0 in the preseason with the 27-13 win over the Saints. Taking a look at the top performers in this one, Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler battling it out for that QB1 spot in New Orleans, and Trey Lance, as Lee J mentioned, looking sharp in Los Angeles. Preseason, ladies and gentlemen. Got to remember that one. Zach Wilson, 5 of 9, 96 yards. 16 rushing yards for the Dolphins. Tyson Bagent, 13 of 19 for 103 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The Dolphins will visit the Lions next Saturday for their second preseason game as the Bears host the Bills next Sunday. For more on week 1 of the NFL preseason, I'm joined by CBS NFL analysts and Gemini birthday twins, Emery Hunt and Lige Douzabal. Guys, the Dolphins and Bears finished their first preseason game with a 24-24 tie. We saw Ben Johnson's coaching debut for the Bears, and it was Tua Tagovailoa's first preseason start since 2021. Tua's first drive was cut short with an impressive goal line stand by the Bears defense. So, Emery, let's start with that. What did you like from the Bears defense on Sunday?
You already see, guys, Dennis Allen's impact on defense and how aggressive they were. You saw talk about the goal line stance. Noah Sewell's right there running right down the A-gap and blowing up the tailback, as well as Ruben Hippolyte had a fantastic day as well for a rookie out of Maryland. So you saw the impact of the run game, how well they did on defense. But the story was Austin Booker, the defensive end. 3 sacks, 3 TFLs, 4 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble. If they can get that type of production from a guy that's a rotational end coming into the season, opposite of or coming in conjunction with Montez Sweat, this defense has not only the pieces to be successful, but they have the depth as well.
Yeah, Emery, that was their strength last year anyway, the defensive side of the ball. Eberflus was the defensive coordinator and the head coach. He leaves. Dennis Allen comes in, but I'm right there with you. Austin Booker, he was a guy I was really excited about coming out of Kansas last year. Played in that rotational role, but the way he's played throughout this preseason, he might get even more reps. I've been waiting for them to pair somebody opposite of Montez Sweat, to your point, because he's a guy that gets so much attention on that D-line. They just haven't found a Robin to his Batman yet. So could Austin Booker be that future guy? That is the big question. But Madeline, you started this segment talking about Miami's offense, and the woes continue for them, right? Short yardage running. They cannot get it done. 3rd and 4th and short. You bring in a big back like Ollie Gordon, you thought that would help? It doesn't help. They still get stuff. And the thing about it, guys, this wasn't even the starters from the Chicago Bears defense. These were the backups, and there's no disrespect to them. But if you're this Miami offense and you want to come in with a new mindset, refortified offensive line, you want to be more physical, you got to get it done in those gotta-have-it situations. It reared its ugly head again. And this is why people continue to say this isn't a tough team.
Well, Alicia, you took the words right out of my mouth right there. The Dolphins, they look like they're still working on the kinks in that run game. What did you notice there other than, the struggles?
I think Emery hit it right on the head, right? Sewell just comes straight through the A-gap. So missed assignments by the offensive line up front, especially in those short yardage scenarios and situations. Everybody has to be on the same page because things happen that much quicker when you're only trying to get 1 yard, especially around the goal line situation. Everything is condensed and shrink down. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. Everybody has to be on one accord when you're trying to pick up that extra yard. But then it just comes down to the offensive line being more physical than the defense. I felt like the defensive line and linebackers were more physical than Miami once they got towards the goal line. You talked about it, Madeline. Tua was able to move the ball up and down the field. Taj Washington looked good, especially with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle not playing. But to me, it comes down to physicality and then executing. And that's where Miami has struggled the last year and today when it comes to their short yardage run game.
You know what it's like when you run the football, guys, in Miami's scheme? It's like going from running the football in a parking lot to running the football inside of a classroom. And when you get inside the green zone. So once you get inside the 10-yard line, the 5-yard line, you have to go north and south because the field shrinks. And if you can't get off the ball, blow guys off the ball, or fire off the football, that's going to be a problem. And right now, Miami is trying to show you that, hey, we're a tough physical football team. I know that's what they wanted to address in the offseason, but you just can't turn on toughness. You can't turn on physicality. You have to practice that. And if you're practicing east and west, when it's time to go north and south versus a team, as we saw with Dennis Allen and what he loves to do, and also Ben Johnson, they go north and south. That's going to be an issue. And listen, Ollie Gordon would be the guy, in my opinion, because they were trying to run with those speed guys down the interior of the offensive line. It wasn't working. So you got to lean into a guy like Ollie Gordon to help that run game impose their will in those short yardage situations.
Great analogy from the former Louisiana running back right here, going from running in a parking lot to a classroom, a little bit more crowded there. You guys, I want to talk about the quarterback play. Of course, Dolphins starter Tua Tagovailoa got a couple reps in there. A lot of noise about Caleb Williams coming out of Bears camp. But what did you like, Emery, from what you saw from Case Keenum or perhaps Zach Wilson?
Well, listen, the Dolphins was able to pass protect rather well, in my opinion. So I thought when you had a Jonah Savaiinaea doing his thing, and on the other side, when you look at the Bears offensive line, Theo Benedict started at right tackle. I thought he did a great job, second year out of Canada. Braxton Jones, the left tackle, did a great job, and he's in a battle for that spot. And I like that they got in Jordan McFadden at the left guard